workshop on maximizing engagement. So we're going to talk about crafting effective instructional videos. And before we get started, Kevin and I are just going to take a quick moment and just kind of introduce ourselves and what our role here is on campus. So my name is Katy Houghton, and I am a learning designer with UT Online. My role predominantly is helping our online instructors developing their courses. And so in addition to, thinking and asking questions, about instructional strategies and learning theories and helping to create really engaging learning experiences for our students, we also encourage our instructors to develop content that includes media, which includes instructional videos. So that's kind of where Kevin comes in as our media designer here at Utah Tech Online. So I'll kick it over to him.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I'm Kevin Harris. My official title is media designer. And so my focus is on effective media for these online courses. And so I work with the learning designers to make these online courses as effective as possible through graphics and video and whatever other technology there is, AI, that kind of stuff. So that's all fair game for me and lots of fun.
All right, so we're going to start off with just kind of a quick warm-up activity, just something fun to kind of gauge everyone's current level of comfort with instructional videos. So I've got 5 different images up here. And what I want you to do is I want you to pick an image, and I want you to think about why that's the one you most relate to. And you're going to type your response in the chat, but don't press enter until I say to. So I'm going to do like a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and everyone's going to press enter at the same time. And it's going to be this cool waterfall of responses. And we'll see how well everyone follows instructions. So I'm going to give you about like 30 seconds. Pick an image, write a really quick, like why you relate to it. Give you about 10 more seconds. Okay, now here's the real test. I'm going to count down from 3. So I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and then on go, everyone's going to press enter at the same time. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Okay. All right. So let's see some of the options here. Huck, E, the greatest showman. So Huck, you're feeling confident here. B, Terry just loves pandas, but you're slightly shy. I get that. Yeah, I feel like I'm between A or B. I'm a little, I don't love to make videos, but I'll do it. Let's see. A, I hope I'm doing okay. Yes. And then C, I want to learn. Yeah, C, that's a good one. Did anyone want to elaborate on their answers? Totally fine. Okay. No, this is just something fun to kind of get us warmed up and honestly for me to see how everyone's feeling. Let's go ahead and move on.
All right, this is me. So our objective is to recognize simple strategies for creating engaging instructional videos. And we thought, what better way to teach about videos than to use videos? So we're going to do a video. It's about 7 minutes long, almost, but don't worry. I know that sounds long. We're going to have an intermission, so you can get up and buy some popcorn. Actually, no, we're going to have a discussion in the middle of what we talked about so far. And this is the world premiere of this video. So I'm going to see if I can make this thing happen behind me here. There we go. The new version of Zoom does those kind of things. So that's for different training. So before we show the video, I just want to say that videos can vary greatly. Like you can go all the way up to Hollywood style if you want to get really fancy. But today we're going to focus mostly just on simple presentation type trainings. So like talking head, that sort of thing. So we're going to try to keep it simple. So if you'll mute your themselves during the video. Before we start, I just wanted to warn you that beginning of this, I had a few technical difficulties with the video, but it gets better. So don't adjust your television sets. So, all right.
Welcome students to Cinema 1313, History of Horror in Film. My name is Kevin Harris, and I will be your adjunct professor for this course.
Wait, let's stop right there. I'm not sure if Kevin is making a welcome video for his students or if this is a scene from one of those scary movies he discusses in class. We've all been victims of dry, boring, endless instructional videos. So how can you maximize student engagement? Let's start by discussing some of the technical aspects that can enhance your instructional videos. I recommend using quality equipment. That doesn't mean you need to go out and invest hundreds of dollars on a new mic and camera, but I would recommend ensuring that you have a decent camera and microphone. It can make a world of difference in the overall production value of your videos. Clear visuals and crisp audio create a more engaging and professional learning experience.
Test.
Poor sound can detract from the effectiveness of your content. Consider the importance of camera placement. Ensuring it's at eye level creates a balanced and engaging visual connection with your students. This perspective fosters a sense of connection and promotes a more natural interaction. Let's strive for that eye-to-eye contact. Now let's talk about lighting and background. Adequate lighting is key to a visually appealing video. Consider the impact of shadows and silhouettes, and aim for a well-lit, uncluttered background. A visually interesting yet non-distracting background keeps your students focused on the content, providing a seamless learning experience. By incorporating these technical considerations into your video production process, you not only elevate the visual quality of your content, but also create a more enjoyable learning experience for your audience.
Back before any of you were born, I was talking to my friend Henry, who looks a lot like his brother Fred. But in this case, it was actually Henry, and we were both sitting on a chair.
In today's fast-paced digital environment, attention spans can be quite limited. Therefore, it's essential to make your instructional videos engaging. One effective way to engage your audience is to begin with a thought-provoking question or a real-world scenario that relates to the topic you'll be covering.
Did you know that historians claim that the origins of the horror film genre are a direct result from the First World War? Why do you think that might be?
This immediately piques their curiosity and makes them more invested in what you're about to teach. Another strategy is to use storytelling. Narrating a relevant anecdote or sharing a relatable personal experience can create an emotional connection with your viewers, making your content more memorable.
Do you remember the first scary movie that you ever saw? I do. I was at my friend's house and his parents were gone, and so we decided to watch a movie.
Remember, it's not necessarily about the length of the video, but rather about the impact it has on your audience. You can have a short video that's packed with valuable insights and engaging visuals, or a longer video that meanders without holding your viewers' attention. Researchers from MIT conducted a large-scale study of 6.9 million video watching sessions. They found that shorter videos are more engaging for students and recommend segmenting videos into short chunks. You can also include surveys or use online video platforms like Kaltura and YouTube to access engagement metrics, such as likes, comments, and shares, are indicators of how well your content is resonating with your audience. So, don't be afraid to experiment and gather feedback to understand what works best for your students. All right, so we're going to pause halfway through and just kind of do a quick discussion about the topics that we've discussed so far. So I want you guys to share some of your experiences, any challenges, questions, or successes that you've had with any of these things. So we talked about the technical considerations, just your setup, engaging your audience with anecdotes and storytelling, considerations for attention span and video length, and then of course incorporating metrics and data. And feel free to unmute and talk or use the chat.
I know that for me, I try to keep in mind, whether I would want to watch the video. And so the things that bother me, I want to make sure that I fix, right? Like if it's hard to see the person speaking, or if it's hard to hear them, or, subtitles are always nice, things like that.
Good, yeah.
I've found that the biggest problem I have is whether I script out an instructional content video or not, or whether I just think, hey, I'm going to deliver some sort of instructional thing, I'm going to record myself doing it. It always takes longer. The recording length is always longer than I intended to be. Maybe I was hoping for it to be a 2-minute video. It turns out to be more like an 8-minute video. And so I do run into that if I'm trying to just do like a single take or a one take with no cutting or editing or anything like that. And that might just be because I'm long-winded, or I'm very full of myself or whatever, or I meander. But that's one thing I need to work on better. But I find that.
So you write out your scripts. One thing that I was thinking about and even playing around with a bit is, so if I have like an idea of what I want to say in my video, and maybe I know that I want to talk a lot about my previous experiences. So I do a lot of storytelling, which is valuable, but it's like, okay, how do I keep the students engaged? Using AI. So type out what you think you want to say and have it kind of condense it. And hopefully that'll kind of you could use that as your outline and keep you a little bit closer to what you expected your time to be on that video. Is there anything else you guys are thinking about? Challenges, questions even?
One challenge that
Go ahead, Cody.
One challenge that I always have is kind of like gauging the students. It's hard for me to figure out if they're enjoying the videos, if they find value in the videos, if I'm better off not even doing the videos. That's kind of where I always struggle.
That's a great question. So I would recommend uploading your videos to your Canvas page using Kaltura or YouTube, depending on what you're more comfortable with. But Kaltura actually has video metrics that you can go and look at. And so I have an example. This was pulled from another course. The instructor gave us permission to share this, but I did omit the students' names and things like that. But you can actually go and see where students are at in terms of like how far are they making it into the video before they give up. Let me scroll up just a little bit here. How many times is it getting played? How many of those are unique views? The completion rate. You can actually see individually for each student how many times they played it. The player impressions, I don't know if you guys can see that, but this player impressions is like how many times they see that video on their screen. So for example, this first student, it had 5 player impressions and they only played it twice, which is still a good number. Like they played the video twice. They only, 50% completion rate was their average, but you can kind of go through and kind of pick apart like what's going on in your videos. Another option may be to just throw in like a Google form survey and ask students like, what do you like about my videos and what do you not like? What can I do to make them better? I think they're going to be the best source of feedback. Carrie, you asked a question. Do we automatically have access to Kaltura? I've been using YouTube, and that is my understanding that everyone has access to Kaltura. You may just need to go into your settings and make sure My Media is turned on by dragging it up into your active. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like in your navigation?
In the Canvas course?
Yeah, if you go to settings,
Okay.
there's those things, you can move it up to where it's active. You can go into that and upload your videos through Kaltura.
Okay.
And if you want help with that, feel free to reach out to one of the link designers and I can walk you through it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We also have a workshop next week on using Kaltura videos.
Yeah,
So
I'm signed up for that one.
Okay. So we can help make sure that you are connected through that aspect
Thank
of
you.
it.
Yeah.
So YouTube has similar metrics on their thing. And if you don't want to get into the metrics, sometimes if it's a pre-recorded video, sometimes I'll just not watch it until the next day and then watch it again. And then it hits you differently after some time, or to show it to another person and kind of watch their reaction. So there's a few different ways to do it that are not technical as well.
Let's see, we had a question here from Sue. The students always make comments loving my storytelling of personal experiences. Yes, I think we need to have an instructor presence in our online courses. So you're not feeling that disconnect on the student end of things. So of course, I share personal stories and anecdotes, but keep in mind that your learners will sometimes disengage if you're sharing too many stories, too many anecdotes, and it's like, well, where's the aha moment, or how does this connect to the content? But if you're doing that so intentionally, then it works perfectly. Let's see. We've got another comment here from Luis. Is it Luis or Lewis? The technical aspect of my crafting is my weakest points. Are there any resources on campus to practice these skills? That's a good question. Right now, I was pausing to see if maybe Kevin or Huck wanted to answer that one. Right now, there's not a place where we can practice, but you're more than welcome to. I'm sure Kevin might be able to kind of help you with like your camera and your mic, maybe picking out a better set of stuff if you need it.
Yeah, we would like to have something set up, but currently there's not. But yeah, I can help you. But a lot of this stuff, like it showed in the video, is just considering what's in your background and what will your students be looking at instead of you, like what's going on behind you. So, but mostly just if they can see your face and if they can hear you clearly, that goes a long ways.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's see, another question. Is it better to share in first person, or is there a better way? So Nancy, do you kind of mean like how I'm doing right now, where I have like a talking head plus the presentation?
Yes. I notice in different videos and experiences where I've had studies online, sometimes it's just very academic and scholarly, and it's like a third person. I'm just wondering if there is a way, if either of those, first, second, third, is more engaging for the learner in our university environment, or if you have some ideas, success, if there are studies.
So I read a research article when I was prepping for this workshop, and it actually said that talking head videos were the most engaging. But I am personally a visual learner, so I like to see what you're talking about as well as your face. I don't like it when I can't see the instructor's face. I feel like I'm learning from a ghost at that point. But I think it really depends. If you've got media that's important enough to kind of be in the front and center, you could definitely have that and just kind of talk behind it. But yeah, at least that's kind of my opinion. And then just from that one research article that I'm thinking of, but Kevin or
doing a Google slide or PowerPoint presentation where your face is in the corner, but then they can see what you're talking about is pretty effective as well. So yeah, most of the time, if they can see you, it's a way for your students to connect with you. But some people are just terrified of being on camera, and so being faceless is better than nothing, I guess. But yeah, if you can do your face, that's preferred.
Well, in the online environment, do you feel like it makes more of a connection with the student? That's what I'm kind of gathering, is that it's an immediate FaceTime kind of,
And it helps like establish that rapport and credibility too, coming from you, not from, some instructor that made a video on YouTube. I think they really like to hear that information from their instructor when it's possible.
Thank you.
And to see your personality and that kind of thing shine through.
Thank you.
All right. Are we ready to move on to the second half? Okay.
Yes.
Next, let's talk about cognitive load. Our memory processes involve sensory memory, working memory, and long-term memory. Cognitive load theory emphasizes how these components impact how we process information.
The initiating event early in the suspense text let the reader know that the character was at risk.
Cognitive overload occurs when learners are presented with too much information at once. This can hinder comprehension and retention. Strategies like segmenting, signaling, and matching modality alleviate cognitive load and enhance engagement. Segmenting involves breaking down complex topics into smaller, manageable chunks. This approach allows learners to focus on one piece of information at a time, reducing cognitive load. Signaling uses cues, highlights, or animations to emphasize key points, helping learners direct their attention to essential information. Matching modality is another effective strategy. By presenting information through both auditory and visual channels, you engage multiple senses, aiding in better understanding and retention. Prior knowledge activation is equally vital. By connecting new information to what learners already know, you leverage their existing mental frameworks, reducing cognitive load and fostering meaningful learning. Now let's move on to active learning. Incorporating interactive elements such as questions, quizzes, or reflection prompts within your videos can encourage active engagement. These moments encourage learners to pause, think critically, and actively process the information. Real-world relevance is another powerful engagement tool.
Have you ever stopped to consider that even the story of Little Red Riding Hood can be seen as a story of female empowerment?
When students see how the content applies to their lives or future careers, their motivation to engage increases. This relevance creates a connection that enhances the overall learning experience. Next, we will discuss how to enhance engagement through instructional video design. Don't underestimate the power of conversational style. By using language that's relatable and friendly, you establish a connection with your learners. This approach humanizes the learning experience and makes the content more engaging. Research even suggests that adding humor to instructional videos can enhance student engagement, motivation, and learning. To take engagement a step further, consider incorporating interactive elements. These can include questions, polls, quizzes, or prompts for reflection.
What is one thing from today's lesson that surprised you or maybe even scared you?
These moments encourage learners to actively process the content rather than passively watch it. And there you have it. When making instructional videos, think beyond just sharing facts. Make it an experience that grabs your audience's attention. Consider the technical aspects. Be intentional with how you plan to engage your learners. And most importantly, don't forget to use this opportunity to let your personality shine through and connect with your students. This video provides some simple and easy ways to enhance your instructional videos. But if you're looking to improve your online courses further, don't hesitate to reach out to the Learning Design team at Utah Tech Online. For more information, visit our website at online.utah.tech.edu.
All right. Now we wanted to allow some time for all of us to learn from each other and share experiences with these different aspects, maybe good experiences or bad experiences or anything that really stood out to you. So talking about cognitive load, activating prior knowledge, interactive elements, and conversational style, humor, my favorite, and allowing for student reflection. So anybody want to share anything related to that or have questions related to one of these?
I can tell you a couple of things.
Great.
This is Sarah Black. I teach Chem 1010 online. One is that as far as conversational style and humor, it took me, Huck will remember, it took me a little while to find my voice in talking to a video. It is different than your voice in talking to a class. And when it finally clicked is when I imagined that I was talking to a single student across the desk. You know, when a student comes into my office and has a question and I talk to them that way, when I talked like that, it worked just really nice. Because when I said, okay, so the thing is, or, okay, so what you want to understand about that, you know, whatever the kinds of phrases that I use when I'm talking individually, that worked for me. And secondly, reducing cognitive load. For some reason, I had to force myself to have one concept per slide. I kept wanting to pack my slides with lots of information so that you can see all of the connections. And I think it was, it tends toward overload. And so when I kind of forced myself to separate them, and, you know, there's no shortage of files. You can have lots of slides. It's okay. You can go by quickly. You don't have to fit it all on one screen. I think that helps students.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's hard. Go ahead.
Okay. Kind of on Sarah's, just to add to what she said, I loved it, Sarah. Thank you. I got some information from you that I'll use. But that cognitive overload of trying to cram too much into one slide, what I ended up doing was to have the individual information on each slide, and then I would do an overview on a slide to pull it all together so they can see the connections after going over each individual item.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Another thing for reducing cognitive load, and this goes with kind of like, because we want to add stories and personality and things to our, and you know, pretty elements and stuff like that. But we always want to make sure that what we're adding is in service to the message. I've read lots of research on this kind of topic because I'm in the technical writing and digital rhetoric program. And I was reading an article that was about, they actually looked at images that were used in like science classes and history classes and things. And they found that images about earthquakes, like earthquakes as a subject, the science classes did better with ones that were more science oriented of earthquakes rather than, you know, like the human tragedy focus of them. Whereas for history class, that was more engaging to the students. And so you want to make sure that, again, everything's in service to your message and your subject.
That's really good.
Oh, and I think we already did a plug for it, but next week on the 25th, right, Diana, is the upcoming training on using Kaltura to build interactive quizzes into your courses. So this is kind of like the beginner video, but if you want to take it to the next level, that would be a great training to attend. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns?
Just kind of echoing something that I put in the chat. I don't know if we already have a set of links anywhere or something that can kind of help us find some of these resources or pointers. And we could even have like a beginner, an intermediate, and advanced kind of section, because I'm getting my feet under me for like beginner techniques, but you know, I can't make anything as polished as what you guys did, but I'd like to incorporate some more of that. And so just having better ideas for where to find that when I'm ready.
I don't know of anything that exists, but the video that Kevin and I created is going to go on the UT Online website. And I think something that you're talking about would be an excellent supplemental material to go with it. So having this being kind of like beginner, but then next level stuff, you know, like the interactive quizzes, whether it's through Kaltura or H5P, and then kind of that advanced, which may be more like what we're thinking, like Bill Nye the Science Guy level stuff where you're doing like demos and there's animations and things like that. That would be really a great resource.
So
Sounds good to me.
we do the recordings of all of these. Some of them are at different levels, but a lot of it's more pedagogy, but there is some technology aspects. Did you, Kevin and Katie, did you actually create this video in your office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my part was at my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, we filmed it in the break room and then edited it here using Adobe Premiere stuff. So.
And so if you want to go to the point where you're editing and piecing together, because theirs was a pretty elaborate video with editing aspects to it, I'm sure placed in it, because you're bringing graphics together and everything.
Sure.
I would say one of the places you could go for that is Pluralsight. I haven't looked for them myself, but Pluralsight has a lot of those software programs that teach you how to do those things.
Thank you.
And Carrie and everyone else, remember, you're not alone. You can consult with a media designer like Kevin, a learning designer like Katy, with whenever you have a question or want to do something, maybe you have an idea but aren't sure how to do it technically, or you can either Zoom or come by the tech building or schedule an appointment to meet with one of our UT Online learning designers or media designers, or you know, they can help. And again, we're trying to improve our UT Online website so that you will have resources listed under best practices for instructional videos and things like that. So
and that can possibly be something that I work on to kind of go along with this video. I probably won't be there tomorrow, but if you give me a while, I could probably put together some stuff alongside Kevin, could help me with getting that started for you though, Carrie, because I do like it.
There's always the Center for Teaching and Learning as well, with questions and ideas of how to incorporate some of these different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, if you guys don't have any other thoughts or questions, we will release you to enjoy the rest of your Friday. And like we've all said, if you have any questions, reach out to CTL or UT Online, and we'll make sure you get taken care of. All right, have a good one, everyone. Bye.
And Katie, you'll be in the room for a little bit if anyone does have questions.
Yes, yeah, I will.